it's a gimmick, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's purely a gimmick. But we see like Levi,
It's a great gimmick.
Hikaru.
Everybody loves cats, man.
Yeah, but it's not a cat.
It's mittens.
It's a chess engine.
We're live. Here we go.
Yep.
Episode 20. We're in Spain. Only a couple of days away from Tata Steel. That's going to be super exciting. I just got here yesterday. It was a long trip from Seattle. That wasn't necessarily fun, but it wasn't bad either. My jet lag actually kind of subsided quite quickly.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
pretty
good.
fresh.
That's important.
But speaking of fresh, you have a really fresh haircut.
I mean, we went live yesterday, right?
That's true. That's true.
So this is not a new thing. But yeah, that's true. I don't normally go this short.
Yeah. What happened there? How did you get to this haircut?
No, I just
Talk to us a little bit about that.
The barber did his thing. I didn't really have much input. I don't particularly care. Like I never thought much about the haircut too much. You know, it's like it's gonna grow out within a week.
Yeah.
So I don't care too much.
Yeah.
If it's a bit short, a bit on the maybe the too short side. So anyway, like the most important thing is you get it even, because then when it grows out, it doesn't start to look really, really bad. Which is like
that's interesting because I never get it even. Like I always have some sort of fade type of thing.
No, I mean like even as in on both sides.
Ah, yeah.
Or that you don't have like something sticking out, you know?
I mean, that's on the barber.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. No, but it happens a lot.
Really?
Well, maybe it depends on your hair type, but for me it does happen quite a bit.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, your hair is probably extremely, extremely difficult. You need some specialized care.
I think it's on the more difficult side
Yeah.
compared to straight
Yeah.
hair.
But I like it. It looks fresh. You look like a young Eminem.
Eminem.
Yeah. Very, very similar.
Not many similarities. Maybe without the glasses, I could, like, there would be a bit more similarity.
That's true.
Because he never wore glasses.
That's true. That's true. Do you also feel like some sort of a fresh reset whenever you get a new haircut?
No.
Things of that nature, or you don't have those?
Not
type
really.
Of,
I mean, for me, the most important thing is that I, like, have a workout or have some time to work out, and then I start to feel a bit better.
yeah.
Because I know that, like, during the tournament, my physical form will go down quite a bit.
Especially in this one, yeah? I mean, this one is going to be a super long one. What, like 16 days, something like that?
Well, 13 rounds with rest days.
13 rounds. We get there on the 12th, actually, and we leave on the 30th.
Tomorrow, yeah.
So that's like 18 days.
Because we're filming this on Wednesday.
Yeah, today is Wednesday, January 11th, and we're leaving on the 12th from Madrid, where we currently are, and we're going to get there sometime in the afternoon. Time to kind of rest. And what do you usually do there? Because this is going to be the first time for me.
Well, it's difficult to say because the first time I played in Wijk, at the time it was called the Chorus Chess Tournament.
Yeah.
And originally I think it was called the Hugovins, or how do you pronounce it? Hugovins
Yep.
Chess Tournament, which is like a neighboring city near Wijk aan Zee. But Chorus was the steel plant that was in Wijk aan Zee, and that they were sponsoring it. And I don't remember exactly the year that the Tata Group, which is like a huge conglomerate, took over. And so Tata Steel is the subsection of the Tata Group, which is sponsoring the event. So 2008, I started playing. And I have to say, it used to be colder in Wijk. And yeah, people are going to like speculate why, obviously. But
Climate change.
I'm just saying that it was colder.
Yeah.
The climate was, the weather was a bit harsher in those days. It was very windy and unpleasant, and now it's still cold. It's still windy. You know, it's right by the North Sea, so it's a very windy and not very hospitable climate. But it's better. It's a bit warmer, and everything is kind of fine. Like, it's a small town, but there are restaurants and there's some things to do, and there's like the traditional chess atmosphere. And the last 2 years there was none of that. It was like in lockdown. It was a nightmare. I mean.
Actually, were you actually impacted about it at all, or
Yeah.
happened? For your team? 'Cause
Yeah.
I think you were with
My coach
Chuchalov,
got
right?
sick. Chuchalov, who was with me last time, got sick. He got COVID, tested positive for COVID
during tournament.
during the tournament. Like the first day, he started to feel a bit bad, and he took a test, and he tested positive. And like the measures were weird, and as usual, they didn't make a whole lot of sense. Like he was in his room, and the plan was that he would isolate in his room. But about 2 days into that, they were like, "You can't stay in this room. We need you to change rooms because your room is too close to other rooms." Which I don't know if COVID can like penetrate through walls, maybe. But they asked him to like go to a separate facility of the hotel, to like a different wing, like an abandoned wing.
That's
And
terrifying.
it was very strange. I mean, it wasn't like terrifying. It was,
I mean, for him, yeah, just
it was,
being shipped away to a completely different place.
well, it was still part of the hotel, but it was annoying, and they tested me like crazy. I mean, I played Shankland in like the second round, I think, or third round. I don't remember. Maybe third round, because I think I drew Kayak in first round, and Vidit second round, and Shankland third round. And before the game, I had to go to this neighboring city, Beverwijk,
To get tested.
to get a test because they don't have a testing facility. And like the game started 1, so I have to go at 9 in the morning to a neighboring city to get a test.
Terrible.
And then I would have to like self-test in the evening and report my results to the organization. And then people start getting sick. I don't get sick. Dubov gets sick. I mean, the whole tournament, like in my opinion, was a complete mess.
Yeah, I remember Dubal actually missed. Did he miss 1 or 2 rounds?
He missed the Grand Prix because of this.
But he also missed
From what I
at
did
least
he miss
one
the Grand
round
Prix?
during the Tata Steel. The Grand Prix,
Well,
as in what? As in
wait,
whenever
wait.
you
Let me
guys
try to
travel,
remember.
or is that what you mean by
No,
that?
so no, he definitely like had to leave the tournament near the end, and for example,
And he never came back?
yeah, well, it was like that.
Oh, he
the last,
didn't come
the
back,
last
no?
2 rounds he didn't play.
Okay.
Like he played Magnus in the last round. Played like Magnus didn't have
Got
to
a
show
point.
up. Yeah,
Yeah.
Magnus would have won anyway. It didn't matter for the tournament. But I mean, he would have won the tournament. Not necessarily that game, but he won that game. He won the tournament by default. And but the thing which I'm trying to remember is, did Dubov miss the Grand Prix? Because there was a Grand Prix which qualified Rapport and Nakamura for the candidates, and Dubov was playing, and it was like right after Wijk. I remember this because Richie and I were talking about it, Richard Report. And I think Dubov probably made it, but he was like sick 3 days before the Grand Prix, so I'm trying to remember if he made it or not.
Yeah, I remember that there were so many problems last year. But hey, new year, no problems, no restrictions. Hopefully everybody will be healthy and ready to play.
Well, Duda missed.
Duda, for whatever reason, I don't think he gave any particular reason.
No, look, I have it on the Tata website.
You do?
Let me just...
Personal reasons, he said, right? Or did he mention health?
Let me...
And
because they had like
obviously
a
we're
press
just
release about this.
speculating at this point.
This is from the Tata website.
Yeah.
Parham Magsudlu replaces Jan Christoph Duda in Tata Masters 2023 due to personal reasons. Yeah, that's... okay, due to personal reasons.
Yeah.
So that's very vague.
We have no
Could be
idea
anything.
what happened.
Could
yeah.
be anything.
Yeah, because I think that actually happened on the first or at the beginning, very early on in the year. So even if he would have gotten COVID, I mean, you almost have 15 days to recover. It should be enough.
But I swear that I got an email from them that said health reasons. Maybe I'm like...
Yeah.
Well, I don't know for sure.
Let's talk about that change. How do you feel? Parham, in terms of strength, styles. You've played Parham. You actually scored a good victory at the Olympiad against him.
Yeah.
One of the few victories at the Olympiad.
Yes, yes. Thanks. Thank you for reminding me. No, I don't... I know Duda better as a player.
Yeah.
Like, I played Duda many times. Parham I played once, yeah. I beat him once. Okay, he's not as strong as Duda. Like, that's not really up for debate, right? Duda is 2760 or so. Parham is like 2705,
Yeah.
10, whatever it is. Maybe even... Is
He's
he
a bit higher, I think. He's on
Higher
the
than
upswing.
2710?
I think he's on the upswing right now.
Okay, I mean, he could be, but not much higher.
No,
right?
no, absolutely not.
2719.
Trend-wise, he's definitely on the upswing, and I feel
yeah.
like Duda trend-wise is on the downswing a little bit. He's been struggling in the last few tournaments.
Yeah, like at their, let's say at their extremes, like Duda's lowest and Parham's highest, then they are going to be very close in rating.
Yeah.
Like, let's say Parham could be reasonably soon a 2730 player, right?
Easy,
This would
yeah.
not be like surprising.
No.
And Duda has oscillated between 2760, 70 and 2730, 40. So yeah, but overall, dude is a better player. Like he in Rapid and Blitz, he's far more successful. Obviously, he's one of the most successful players in Rapid and Blitz, and he was in the candidates and qualified for the candidates.
Yeah.
World Cup, he got to the well, he won the World Cup, right?
He did.
He won the World Cup, so
I think he beat Karyakin, right?
he beat Karyakin in the final. So I mean, he's a very successful but rather
He
a
also,
little unstable
beat
player.
Magnus,
He beat
on
Magnus.
the way to winning the World Cup.
He beat Karyakin in the final. Magnus before that, yeah.
Yeah,
Magnus.
that was a really good performance. Breakthrough, almost felt like performance for Duda.
Mhm.
And after that, he had a good year. Sure, maybe he's struggling, but still, from the experience point of view, he's definitely up there with the best. Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one. Did you talk to us a little bit, because I hear this a lot and I see it a lot in the comments as well. Everybody's wondering what the training routine is leading up to this type of events. Like, let's say 2 weeks before the event, since the year started. Did you do anything in particular? Did you go to the gym more often?
Okay,
Did
yeah.
you try to, like, what was the training routine?
Yeah, I wanted to get a bit more physically stronger because my physical form was, I couldn't really work out while I was moving. It was just like too much time, and it's not very healthy to move. Like
Yeah.
lifting things in that manner, like lifting boxes or just moving stuff, it's not really the way you're supposed to work out, you know? So I did a lot of workouts. I've been pretty happy with how that's been going, and obviously chest work, but not as much as let's say in the past. Definitely chest work has used to be a bit more intensive. I think that might be the case for everyone, in fact.
Yeah. Do you have a personal trainer, or how do you work out?
I've been going to a gym where there's like a few guys who are personal trainers, and I started focusing on like the big lifts recently. I mean, like the big compound lifts.
Yeah.
But obviously still not very.
Like squats, deadlifts. What else?
I bench. I
Bench
don't.
press.
I don't like enjoy benching much, but
Mm.
you know, it's
You have
still
to do
one of the big lifts. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, squats. I really like to squat because I have very decent mobility and flexibility. So the only question for me is like the amount of weight that I can handle.
Now, because I went through all these like cycles of lifting and doing more cardio and doing martial arts or whatever, which is more cardio intensive, and then I miss the lifts and the power that gives that those lifts give you. Do you miss the cardio, or do you feel like you have good cardio and what you're missing is, or at least what you can perfect, is your strength?
But like when you're squatting, yeah, that's cardio.
You feel like you're doing
I mean,
cardio also.
If you do like any kind of decent amount of weight for your body weight, right? That is like a struggle, then it's going to be cardio.
Yeah.
You're going to get your heart rate pumped up if you're squatting.
That's true. But you also get a lot of rest in between sets.
Yeah, that's up to you, right? Depends.
I think there's some science behind it. Like you have to get a certain amount of rest in between sets. I think it's maybe 2 minutes is a bit too much, but
wait, you have to for what? Like you have to maximize your gains, or you have to avoid
injury,
crashing?
crashing, maximize the way your muscles are working and
yeah.
things
Well,
of that
yeah,
nature.
if you're
I don't know exactly the science, but obviously I've just heard about these things. I don't know if it's true. Maybe you.
No, I could, like, if you're trying to max out, then like after a warm up set, you're gonna want to take a like decent. Like, you're not gonna want to like immediately try to max out, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think it's gonna like destroy your gains if you're taking a minute rest instead of 2 minutes. Like, it'll probably still be a good workout.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. That's something that I've been trying to focus on as well, actually, especially since I've been traveling the last couple of weeks. I can only do, for the most part, just weights.
Mm-hmm.
Hotel gyms and things of that nature. They're usually well equipped with weights, but you don't really have the space to do kettlebell swings or anything of that nature.
Or jiu-jitsu. You can't do jiu-jitsu at all.
Yeah, that's
unless you find a jiu-jitsu gym in whatever city you're in. Which
I
is
actually
tough.
looked for jiu-jitsu gyms around Wijk. There's absolutely nothing.
No.
I have to go to
Wijk,
Amsterdam.
Yeah, Wijk. You're basically like it's a coastal vacation place for the summer for Dutch people to like go in the summer.
Yeah.
This is nobody goes there in the winter except like to play chess for this tournament. There's no other reason to go there. It's too cold.
Actually, we were discussing this off air, and I found that quite interesting. You were mentioning that there's a few good restaurants, but very often those restaurants are occupied by fans
Yeah.
coming to see the players, coming to see the tournament, and
Or players because
Or
they have
players.
the amateur group, which attracts, at least in the past when I was, from what I remember, it would attract like hundreds and hundreds of players.
did you ever find that inconvenient in terms of finding reservations, given that it's only a small number of restaurants, things of that nature? Or
I think it's still, the capacity is still enough.
it's enough?
Because the local people don't go out.
Mm.
Like, it's a small town. I think people stay in for the most part. Like, it's not like a party town.
Mm.
So the people who are going out are only going to be the chess players and fans. And yeah, it's still a town with like, let's say, whatever it is, 8 restaurants, 8 like decent restaurants. It's going to have enough capacity for the tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so probably the restaurants are actually quite happy with the tournament being
Oh yeah,
held.
they were so unhappy last year because there was this lockdown
Yeah.
that like some of them opened in protest.
And they were willing to get fines for it, right?
Yeah, they were taking the risk. So first there was like the National Day of Protest last year, where every place just, from what I understood, like every place was like, okay, we're taking one day off, and we're all going to agree not to follow the lockdown.
In the whole Netherlands or just in Wijk?
I think it was in the country.
Nationwide.
I think it was like a nationwide thing. And then one restaurant just stayed open, and it suddenly started to get a lot of business among chess players.
Yeah.
And chess players were happy because suddenly there was this option, like instead of having to, scavenge for food in the grocery store, or sometimes the hotel would have like some limited menu. They would, offer room service, right? Then
That's so strange.
Then there was this one restaurant, and they never faced any like
Repercussions, yeah?
I mean, like the local police officer, I doubt that guy wants to go over, and he's probably friends with the restaurant owners. Like,
yeah.
I don't think anyone was happy about the whole situation. Like there was protests in Amsterdam, there was riots in 2021. I remember people rioting in the streets, and I was like watching on the news from Wijk and say.
I remember those. You were in the Netherlands at that time.
It was during Wijk, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, wild times for sure. And things have been cooled off a little bit. That's good. Looking forward to. Actually, this is going to be my first time in the Netherlands. I don't know what to expect, but I've heard very good things about Amsterdam. I think we're going to play at least one. One is you play somewhere else, right? One round.
I have to check.
It's like a traveling.
They have the
round.
travel days, yeah.
So they have multiple.
They might
travel
like.
days.
I wonder if it's in Amsterdam. And it might be in the Rijksmuseum.
One of them is in Amsterdam at a big stadium.
Oh, it'll be in a soccer stadium.
In a soccer stadium.
Okay.
Yes. One of them, and I would assume maybe the other one at.
We played in a soccer stadium once.
Yeah.
In I can't remember the city, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we played once in The Hague. In our museum. Let me think. Rembrandt.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, it was I might be getting the artist wrong. This was a long time ago.
It sounds like a good place. Yeah.
But yeah, we've had a lot of. We once went to Groningen, which was like the place Tiviakov lives in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's known for other things besides housing Tiviakov, but like I know that he's from that city. Yeah, we played in a lot of like different places. So
security measures. That's one thing that is going to change this year, from what I've heard. There's going to be some sort of a delay, 15-minute delay.
Yeah, 15-minute. From what I heard, 15-minute delay. And
did they give you any more information about that?
No.
The organizers?
No.
Just 15-minute delay.
And I think there'll be like wanding and stuff. The usual.
Yeah.
I don't think that there will be any cheating concerns, but These days you have to.
You never know, and you really have to, yeah.
Just to save face. You just have to do it for looks. Even if like it doesn't necessarily prevent it, and it probably won't happen even if you don't have anything, you still shouldn't.
And we've talked so much about it, but I mean, this delay runs the risk of just ruining, in general, anything pretty much, right? 15 minutes, let's say, is manageable, but if you go above that, I mean, it becomes so difficult as a spectator to be sold on a certain
But do you think,
sport, right?
do you care? I mean, because you're watching it.
I care a lot, yeah.
Like nobody knows. You're not going to get it spoiled.
Annoying. Oh, it's so annoying.
But that's because you know.
That's
like,
because I'm involved, and sure, you finish the game, and I have to, be there to wait for you or things of that nature.
That's like a very personal thing.
Yes.
But if I'm a chess fan watching from home, and I'm not going to get the information leaked because the information of the games in that room are going to stay in that room until it's relayed with the delay outside. So everyone will know at the same time. So I'm not behind. I'm going to see what's happening the same time as everyone else in the world. Why does it matter to me if it's delayed a bit?
I think it's psychological.
You think so?
Yeah, I think you know that things have finished 15 minutes ago. Like the tournament has finished. You know who actually won. Some people and some entities know who won, let's say, a world championship. They're not going to leak it.
Yeah.
But maybe whoever is... I mean, you cannot control everybody and their social media, right? So if they go out and they make a tweet 5 minutes after the round or something like that.
That would be on the organizers. I mean, if they would want to protect the integrity of their broadcast, then they would have to make sure that...
Put it in the contract.
I guess so.
If it's a big tournament. But if it's an open tournament,
like
that's...
U.S. Championship, I mean, we were watching that not live. It was exciting to watch Jennifer Yu and Irina Crush play their Armageddon game. I don't know. Maybe people care.
But no, I was watching it live. Like for me, I was doing commentary.
So oh yeah. Okay,
I was doing it live, and I thought you came,
actually I might have been watching it live.
You came to your place also. You were watching it live too. But that's the thing, and it was funny because we were finishing the round, we were finishing the broadcast, and then we were passing our own broadcast in like the
you
TVs
were watching
outside.
The delay. Yeah.
We were watching ourselves, and everybody was like weirdly looking at us, and they were like, "Oh, you guys are finished." Yeah, that's like 30
But you didn't tell
behind.
them the result, right?
No, of course not.
Didn't spoil it.
No
Irina won a piece but couldn't win the game.
No spoiling. Yeah, it's a bit weird, but it is what it is. What can we do? So who's playing? I mean, it's such an interesting field, right? You have a mix of youth and a mixed with experience, right? You have 3 Indian young players, Gukesh, Erigaisi, and Prague. You have Abdusatorov, very, very strong player. He just won the Gashimov Memorial. I think that was a Rapid and Blitz event.
That was before the World Championship.
Before the World Championship. We were expecting to do quite good in the World Championship, and he did. Lost a few key matches, of course.
Yeah, he did reasonably. I think...
He was defending. He was defending the title.
I mean,
right?
He did reasonably, but like good in the... You can play well and not get anything, right?
That's true.
That's the thing about it's such a tough tournament that you can have a very good tournament and nobody even notices because you got, 5th place. Like who was 5th place in the Blitz World?
Yeah.
I mean,
no idea.
I would guess Anish. Like maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Like he had an excellent event. I think he scored like +7. But he didn't get top 3. It's tough.
Top 3, yeah. No, that's...
If you're not getting top 3, nobody will notice. And even if you do get top 3, they'll forget in like 2 months unless you won it.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, it's always the lion's share. Obviously, whenever at the World Championship, whenever medals are involved, it's nice to get a medal. At the same time, the color definitely is extremely, extremely important. What else should... Oh, yeah. So who's playing in the Masters in terms of...
So
this is the youth. We have the youth. We have Jordan Van Forest. Keimer,
another
really
young guy.
well.
Yeah.
Really well.
This is split up. Like it's youth versus... I mean, it's not youth versus experience because everyone's playing everyone. But it's youth and experience. It's like youth is, let's say, Arjun, Pragnanta, Gukesh, Abdusatorov, Keimer. This is like the 5.
So
Yeah.
so
I would
Van
also
Forest
say
is already old, or like?
Jordan is in his 20s. Like he's not the. I mean, there's a difference between 22 or 23, whatever Jordan is, and 16, right?
That's true.
So I like maybe Max Sudlu and Jordan they're still young players, but like Jordan's already won this tournament. We can't say he's like a young up and coming guy, right? Then we have the usual guys, minus Hikaru, because he, for some reason, and we don't know exactly why, he withdrew. Supposed to play.
Well, we can speculate. I would assume it's such a long event, and his career is mostly streaming, that I think he just basically did a risk-reward type of calculation. And he decided not to play.
I just thought that he wanted to play, knowing that, of course, he makes more money streaming and doing his content on YouTube and on Twitch. But he still wants to play because, it's fun.
It's fun, and he has a team already that covers these events.
And he can make content out of it as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
like he did in the candidates. I mean, if you're willing to stream during the candidates or do game recaps, then doing it during Wijk is an easier task, let's say.
At the same time, candidates is such a big opportunity for him.
No, of course you're going to play candidates, right? Like you're definitely not going to say no to the candidates.
Yeah.
Whoever you are.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Unless you're Magnus, because he will definitely say no to the candidates next time.
He's not playing. Hikaru is not playing. But we have Magnus. We have Ding. We haven't seen Ding in a very long time.
Since the candidates.
Yeah. That's not a year, but it's like 8 months, something along those lines. So that's quite a significant break.
Yeah, Ding is like, I'm a bit torn on Ding because he's so strong. Well, we know that, right? We know that he's very strong, but we don't know how strong exactly, right? Because he's a bit out of practice, and he's playing a world championship match. But he's the most absent player in the chess world, but he's playing a world championship. Like, of the most active players, we think of like Magnus, Hikaru. We think of the young guys who are like all trying to make their mark. Anish, or like we see Richie in every tournament. We see like all these guys, and then Ding, we don't see him for a stretch of like 6-7 months at a time.
I feel he's not the only one. Hikaru basically went through that phase as well. We see Ali Reza as well. Do you feel like...
No, but still, Ali Reza, okay, he played candidates, but then he played the entire Grand Chess Tour.
Yes.
He wins the Singfield Cup, right?
But the GCT is only 2 classical events.
Okay, but still, like he's playing tournaments, he's not playing one tournament a year.
Yeah.
Hikaru just played the Rapid and Blitz World Championship. You can't say he's absent. He plays all the Speed Chess Championship online stuff.
He plays online a lot, yes.
Okay, Ding
doesn't.
Ding did. No, Ding played the Speed Chess Championship.
And he got eliminated by Grishuk, right?
No, he beat Grishuk. He got eliminated by... I'm going to say Nihal.
Nihal, yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, okay, like he's still present, but like his presence is very moderate compared to other players, and especially considering that he could be the next world champion. Like 50-50 he could be, right?
Exactly. But this is actually something that I wanted to ask you. Do you feel like players in particular, because I feel like back in the days, I mean 5-10 years ago max, people were putting a lot of prioritizing being active and staying active, and I don't feel like that's the case anymore.
Well, they don't stay active in classical now. They stay active in Rapid and Blitz because 10 years ago, nobody cared about Rapid and Blitz.
That's also true.
The only thing people cared about was the World Championship. Rapid and Blitz World Championship, and even that had less impact, it felt, 10 years ago than now. And that was it. It was like one interesting event. Like the big Blitz events would almost always be played before the start of a classical as a way, without any money, to decide the pairing numbers. Like the Tal Memorial had this system, and I played Tal Memorial like 3 times. They had a 9-round Blitz tournament, and the seedings in the Blitz would decide your pairing seeding in the classical. So you win the Blitz, you get first seed, and you get an extra white game. Yeah.
It's a small reward.
So
for a Blitz
people
tournament.
take it kind of seriously because chess players are competitive, but like half seriously. It's no money on the line, ratings nobody cares about.
But
now it's
nowadays I feel like people care about their ratings.
Yeah, because
the Rapid and Blitz.
Rapid and Blitz is like equivalent to classical now.
Yeah, you get invitations based on that. You get invitations in the Grand Chess Tour. You get invitations in used to be the Champions Chess Tour. Nowadays, it's probably going to be the Chess.com Tour. You get invitations based on that as well. So obviously, it helps a lot to have a high blitz and rapid rating. Yeah,
and also a chess.com rating.
Chess.com rating is important.
People care about that too. It's kind of funny. I mean,
did you fall behind 3,000 last night when
yeah,
you were streaming?
I did, but I regained
But you kept winning 1 point after 1 point, and I think you got all the way. Did you get back over it?
Yeah, I lost 5 points total in the tournament, but my blitz rating is really low. I feel like I could definitely, but
more than 3,000, huh? Where do you feel you
like? I think if I played a match against
3,100?
Danya, then at some point we would reach the same rating.
How high is he? Is he like 30?
Because he's like very often 3150. So
3150.
Like, I'm sure that he's stronger than me in like online blitz.
Yeah.
Especially like if we play without an increment, maybe I'll really suffer. But I would still think that I would be gaining rating against him. At least I would hope so. So yeah, but I mean, I don't really, I can't care about the rating so much, you know.
Yeah.
Let's take a short break from the podcast to talk about this episode's sponsor, NordVPN. NordVPN is one of the world's largest VPN providers. It offers a larger and comprehensive cybersecurity suite. Imagine you're going to a chess tournament and you plan on playing the Catalan tomorrow. You connect to a free Wi-Fi network, which looks totally normal. However, it turns out that the Wi-Fi is actually hosted by another chess player who has access to all of your data and opening analysis. You can use NordVPN to encrypt your data and make it inaccessible to hackers. In chess we say, the threat is stronger than the execution. NordVPN's threat protection feature will guard you against malicious websites, malware, trackers, and intrusive ads. Use our link and get the exclusive NordVPN deal here at nordvpn.com/csqpod. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Just sacrifice 1 cup of coffee a month and protect your browsing with NordVPN today. Click the link in the description. It's literally a no-brainer.
Yeah, no. What else happened in the chess world? Well, actually, FIDE got under a bit of heat from Gotham Chess. I think he pointed out the fact that we're like 3 months away from the World Championship match and we don't have a venue. So the World Championship match is going to be held from the 7th of April through the 30th. And we have no idea where it's going to be held. There were rumors that it's going to be in Mexico. Apparently that fell apart, or at least that's, I believe David Lada said that, or Yada, we are in Spain.
He's Spanish, yeah.
Yes,
Spanish.
I shouldn't mispronounce his name in his home country. So, David posted that. Unfortunately, that seems to have fallen apart. So, where does that leave us?
We spoke a bit about it last night, a little bit during the stream.
I think you mentioned Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan, I think, is a likely. Like I had a feeling Mexico was I was hearing some bad stuff about Mexico. That it was one of the big options at the start, and then started to fall apart. And Kazakhstan, I think they have a sponsor that did the Rapid and Blitz World Championship. It's not Russia, so they're not going to get the political flack over it, right? Like holding in Russia, because Jan is a Russian player, right? But definitely would be a controversy.
Yeah, I think that was out of the question, and they even mentioned it.
Yeah,
Moscow and Russia in general.
So they're not doing that.
Question.
But Kazakhstan is like a very close, because there's definitely some sponsorships they could get. And probably like half Russian sponsors.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're going to get some flack for that for sure.
But they didn't for the, I mean, like the sponsor was for the Rapid and Blitz World Championship. It's a company that has offices in the US, but also in Moscow. And I think the CEO is like Russian Kazakh. So, there are those ties, and they had a tournament with it, and they didn't receive too much blowback. So maybe they won't.
Well, I'm sure PH is going to be talking about that, or he already talked about it on his podcast extensively.
Yeah, we haven't listened to the last episode of the Chicken Chess. Yeah.
No. But,
It's an interesting question because the two players, like one is from Russia, so and the other is from China, and Russia would like gladly sponsor this event, right? They would, if there was no, um, I mean, if the invasion hadn't happened of Russia and Ukraine, and if this hadn't all happened, then Russia would sponsor the event. If this wasn't, if, like a blacklisted
Most
country
likely.
in chess, right?
Most likely.
100%, because they would definitely find the money for the world championship. And China, I don't think they care that much about chess. Like that's the thing. I don't think they really care.
Also, they had the huge COVID restrictions up until very recently. I think they freed things up a little bit, but still, it's very unpredictable. So China, probably out of the question, but we will definitely look an eye for that one. I think they were mentioning FIDE through their press release that there might be a sponsor coming from North America. Now, that's quite curious.
Wait, what?
North America.
Yeah, but North America, what does that mean?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Where?
Okay, because Mexico is out.
Mexico is out.
So the U.S. or Canada? But
Maybe US.
Canada really would
Maybe.
like the U.S.
Are they hinting at the U.S.?
Yeah, I mean, in that case, why don't they just say the U.S.?
Chess club or?
When you say North America, you're talking about Canada or the U.S.?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Canada is hard to...
Or did they say just the Americas? They might have said just the Americas,
Ah, okay.
not North America.
Then we have a long list of possibilities.
Yeah,
Sounds a bit vague as well. Like, wouldn't you just say the country in that case?
you should.
Like,
You
why would
should.
you be vague about it? Just say...
Yeah, they're
I mean-
they're a bit coy about a lot of things. But definitely we need to find like where this world championship is going to be held.
I
Because
mean, we don't need to do anything as on the
at
FIDE,
the
you know?
same time, I mean, you want not necessarily sponsors, but you have to think about the public. You have to think about the spectators. A lot of these potential spectators are going to be just regular people with jobs that want to plan ahead. And 2.5 months, if you want to go to a completely different country, maybe a different continent, is not a lot. If you have a regular job, right? I mean, that's a problem if you think about
You mean
it
people
from,
who will travel there?
from the spectator's perspective.
Do you think that there will be
there's a lot of
a
those?
big interest in it?
That's another good question. Yeah, there's no Magnus. So
Well, there's no Magnus is one. Like, let's go back
Nepo
to...
was there also last year. So
I think like an equivalent match
yeah.
is 2004 Kramnik Leko. So I know the prize. I remember the prize fund for this Kramnik Leko match. It was 750,000 split between the players,
Mm-hmm.
which is not a lot of money for world championship. Like to give you, for example, the 1990 like Karpov Kasparov, I think was like 3 million.
And 3 million was a lot back then.
And Kasparov was still an active player in 2004. He was the highest rated player in the world. So you had a match between two great players, Kramnik and Leko, but they weren't the number one in the world. It's sort of equivalent to what we have now. Two great players who are neither of them number one in the world. In that case, like Kramnik had beaten Kasparov, right, in London. So he was he had beaten the world champion,
Mhm.
and he had taken the title away from Kasparov. And we were also like had this whole mix up with the FIDE world champion. There was like Rustam Kazimjanov was a world champion in 2004, and then they had but if we're talking about like let's say the classical, the long-standing tradition of the world championship match, then Kramnik Leko was the equivalent in
A
2004.
1v1 match, yeah.
There was not much interest in that one,
No.
and it's not always that the world championship draws great interest out. Sometimes.
How about the Anand versus Gelfand?
2012, yeah, it's a somewhat equivalent. Like, it has a lot of interest for chess people, for people who are really in the chess community. But
Yeah.
if you don't know Vichy and Gelfand so intimately as players, like, okay, I think Vichy is, of course, like everyone knows him, right? But maybe Boris Gelfand is not as known to chess fan community.
I feel it became much more intriguing once they started playing, and we saw that, because going into it, it felt like Gelfand is just going to be not necessarily outplayed, but he's going to be the clear underdog going into the event.
But you're looking at it from the
rating-wise
point of
as
view
well.
of a chess expert, right?
Yeah.
Like, imagine the casual chess fan. They don't even know what, like, the games are. They don't know that this opening
Even worse, then they would say that Vichy is clearly the favorite.
Yeah, but like,
so why would I watch this?
Once the match starts, they're not like, oh, the openings and the games are so much more tense than I expected.
No, but once you reach game 7 and the match is still tied, then it becomes intriguing, right?
I mean, the other thing is that I think we're underestimating how much more popularity chess has now compared to then.
That's true.
Like in 2012, you didn't have the eval bar on chess.com with 2 commentators telling you. You had probably like FIDE commentators. I don't even remember how it was set up, who was the commentary team, but you had the FIDE commentators and probably nobody watching live.
I want to say it was
on YouTube, right?
Peter Zvidler and Sopiko Gramishvili, maybe?
On which?
I'm just guessing. On the Anand one. Anand versus Gelfand.
Which was that the FIDE broadcast?
That was probably the FIDE broadcast.
Because chess.com wasn't doing commentary.
I'm just guessing at this point. Chess.com wasn't doing it.
Chess24
wasn't doing it. Chess24, I think, became big in 2014. So, yeah, we're just speculating at this point.
Like now it's just a whole different world. We can't compare.
Completely.
You might have had 5,000 people in the entire world watching the live broadcast. And now you have,
5,000? Yeah, probably more.
I don't know.
But yeah. I know what you mean. I mean, nowadays we're probably going to see most likely
now you have
combined
500,000,
half
right?
a million.
Yeah. So you can't compare it. And I just remember the candidates in 2016, there was only one commentary, I think, again. Chess.com was doing something. They had just started hiring players to do game reports. So Maxime did the game reports for the candidates in 2016. But the commentary team was very funny. And they were also the interview team. So I got interviewed by them, the press conferences with my opponents. So there was this guy, Dylan McLean, who was like a FIDE master 2300, I would say, roughly that rate. He was a journalist for New York Times. He was doing the New York Times chess column for a long time after Robert Byrne stopped doing that. I think probably he passed away and he stopped doing the article. And so Dylan McLean was one, and the second commentator was Jan Nepomniachtchi. Jan was the commentator in 2016, and which shouldn't be funny to me because I also commentated on his World Championship match, right? There's this.
But I think it was the first time that an actual top player did commentary.
Well, he wasn't a top player then.
How good was he? I mean, he was definitely very good, but
low 2700s.
Low 2700s.
Yes.
Mm.
He became top 20 much later.
So he was about 2730 probably at that point.
I would guess less, but yeah.
Something along those lines.
I played him 2015 in Dortmund, and he was 2710. Now we think of him as a legit one of the best players in history, right?
Yeah.
But this was a recent trend. This was 2020 onwards because he made a huge jump 2019, 2020, and obviously he wins candidates and things. After that, you have to be a top player. You're not going to suddenly drop down because after you win the candidates, right? That just elevates you more and more.
Once you win the candidates,
yes, it elevates your confidence, everything, your professionalism. But
especially if you're still fairly young, which he is. So he's definitely going to.
Pre 2018, 2019. Okay, 2019, I think he was already high 2700s, but 2018 and he was mid. You wouldn't have expected him to be one of the greatest chess players of his generation for sure.
No, I think he was swimming around 2750, 2740, 2750, and we knew about his potential, but he didn't confirm his potential.
Actually, I think it's an interesting subject because you have, let's say, some guys who reach that 2760 plus. I'll give you some names that you'll recognize immediately exactly when they reached that, like Yakovenko, for example, 2760. Elyanov, 2770 plus.
Well, Duda recently, right? And now he's kind of struggling to continue that confirmation. But I'm sure he will.
But these guys very often they reach that level and then they recede very quickly.
Yeah.
But sometimes they continue at that level and then they can make huge progress. So it's not so much that you reach a level, it's that you can actually retain it.
Yep.
I'm just like trying to think of players, but
No, I mean
names are slipping.
those two are definitely very good examples. Right now, Yakovenko I think is around 27-10, and
Tomaszewski.
Elyanov,
Tomaszewski as well.
Tomaszewski, yeah, very
Okay.
good point.
Obviously, there's
27-10.
some non-Russian players who fit this category as well.
Well, Elyanov, Ukrainian, but now he's like 26-70,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
sorry,
he
yeah,
receded
Elyanov,
very, very
Ukrainian.
quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's definitely an interesting trend to always watch for. Now, speaking of the chess boom that started, I was recently reading an article, or I think it was a Twitter post by chess.com saying that today they saw an increase of 160%
Mm-hmm.
compared to like, I don't know, a few months ago or something like that. The chess boom doesn't seem to be over.
Well, is this the mittens effect?
It could be the mittens effect.
Like, I don't know. Is it like, is it a good thing that chess.com releases something that is obviously a publicity stunt?
But it works.
And it works
It
perfectly.
works.
It's like, I mean, we have to understand, it's just a chess engine that they tweaked in some funny way. It's a gimmick, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's purely a gimmick. But we see like Levy,
It's a great gimmick.
Hikaru.
Everybody loves cats, man.
Yeah, but it's not a cat.
It's mittens.
It's a chess engine, and not. The only interesting thing to me would be like how they set the parameters, because it's obviously a funny one. Like, I watched the game against Hikaru that it played, and it can't, like, it reaches a winning position and then it can't like formulate a plan. And modern chess engines can come up with a plan very quickly. Like, you put that position where it's a pawn up and it has a dominant knight on c3, queen on b4, rook on a2, and it will, like a good engine, will just like destroy white very quickly, right? And the computer's like king g7, king g8, king f8, king e7, king d6. Puts his king on d6. Still white can't like make progress. Hikaru's playing like rook f1, e1. And yeah, it's just a weirdly programmed engine. Like, they mess with it somehow.
And I think they tweak it on a daily basis, because I remember at the beginning nobody could beat it. And then in the next couple of days, it was Bach that defeated it. And I think a couple of other streamers as well.
Well, I saw some 2100s who were like drawing it, beating it, right?
Yep.
So, like, if Hikaru is struggling to survive against a computer, then a 2100 can't beat it. It's like, it's just simple, quick math.
I mean, I think it was also the fun aspect of it. It being a cat, it trash talking, severely trash talking with a
Yeah.
tagline and whatnot. It's fun. I mean, people like to have fun on the internet, and I think that's Mittens has definitely played this role. Hopefully, it's going to continue. And actually, we were planning on playing Mittens as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out.
Sell my soul.
To Mittens, we'll see. We'll see.
No, but I think the chess boom is good. I mean, 160% increase. It was in users, yeah, you said? Or
In users, yeah.
Like, I mean, that's obviously good mostly for chess.com, but good as a whole.
It means we're reaching a new audience.
Yeah, like Hikaru, Levy, they've increased their numbers drastically recently. It's not just chess.com.
Yeah.
There is a general chess peak at the moment, which might go down, it might stay, right? We don't know.
It's always like that, right?
Yeah,
there's always a new thing. It feels like
there's some peaks and valleys, or it could like stay on a level field. This is like the new norm, maybe. But definitely we've seen that in the chess community as a whole. There's like, probably if we look at other streamers, we would also see some sort of at least small increase in their activity recently.
Especially if they play Mittens.
Yeah, I saw that like Bach was exploiting Mittens.
Yeah.
He made 3 videos on Mittens.
He was enjoying it.
Levy's made like half a dozen videos on Mittens, right? I mean,
yeah, we got to get on that train. Yeah, Mittens was fun. Definitely another chess boom in parentheses. What else should we talk about? Oh yeah, the Hans.
Oh yeah.
No, we cannot forget about Hans. A lot of things have happened this week. So he filed some sort of
amendment, right?
An amendment?
Yeah.
A new amendment? Did you read it?
No, I didn't go through the whole thing. I mean, like
I
I feel
don't-
like I don't want to go through legal documents.
I only read snippets of it. I'm trying to kind of remember the snippets.
Like, let's just see. So it's like 13 additional pages. Um, and someone posted some of the changes.
Yeah. This reporter from Norway, Tarjei Svensson, I think he mentioned a couple of things. Wild accusations by Neiman's lawyers that Rajabov has been repeatedly boycotted for allegedly cheating. He says, I consider myself pretty well informed, but I've never heard about this. Yeah, that's a big one for sure.
Well, I feel like here's how I think that Hans and his legal team are working. Hans hears some chess rumors around the world, and talks to chess players, and then he relays to his relay team, oh, by the way, did you know that such and such is occurring? And then they work it into the contract with some like souped up language. Like, I mean, egregiously defaming him, unlawfully colluding to blacklist him from the like, okay, it's obviously very dramatized language. Yeah, so I saw that like Rajabov was mentioned. I think Akshat Chandra was mentioned, right? This was the Chandra case we kind of heard. We knew, right? This is like a public thing.
About it, Chazalkan banned him. I think
he was
never
banned
came
publicly,
back.
and the
never
reason it
came
was
back.
public was because he has for years upheld his innocence. And those are just the facts of it, like without our personal speculation about whether or not he cheated. He could have like admitted, and it would just like quietly, the usual way, go away. And he would be reinstated, but he upheld his innocence.
Publicly.
Doesn't
actually wrote
made a video
blog
or
posts
wrote a blog
about
post,
it. Yeah.
Doesn't mean he's innocent. That's just what happened.
Yeah.
Rajabov, obviously, this was never a public thing about Rajabov. This is like the first time publicly that
His name comes about. Yeah.
His name comes about in this light. Yeah, not much else to say about it.
If anything, if the organizers were boycotting Rajabov, I would say it's because he was making so many draws. Last couple of years, every single tournament that he was playing, he was just like making draws. I remember I was the commentator for the GST in Romania, and at some point I was asked by the organizers to actually put him on the spot and be like, dude, why are you like drawing your games in 10 minutes?
Yeah, I think you're
and that was a big
correct.
problem.
I don't think that he was ever blacklisted.
No,
Like,
no, but what organizer wants to have a top chess player pay him his appearance fee, give him the opportunity to win money in a major tournament when they only come and make draws in 10 minutes? That's just not normal.
yeah, I think basically like the Grand Chess Tour, the St. Louis Chess Club,
Yeah.
those organizers, which is not just it's also like Superbet, right?
And I'm sure it's not only them.
They didn't want to invite him back because he made 9 draws in the Superbet Classic. And without, like, you can make 9 draws, obviously, but without particularly trying to, and this is not much of a scandal, like, you're allowed to do this. It's not very sportsmanlike. And what might happen, and what did happen, is that organizer probably won't want you back because you're not very attractive for spectators.
You're not providing the spectacle. Yeah.
And, like, you're getting paid. Like, the minimum prize in these tournaments is 15 grand. So he puts in very little effort and he gets paid, and the organizers are kind of unhappy about it. So that's not a blacklist, and I think Hans and his legal team are conflating the two issues. One, which is that maybe Rajabov didn't get in the good graces of organizers because of his tendency to not put much effort into his games, and that there are like rumors circulating, which have nothing to do with organizers.
Yeah.
These are like two separate issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hans is obviously like taking stuff from the rumor mill and giving it to his lawyers. Now, that being said, obviously there's a lot of like rumors in the chess world about different people cheating. So you're going to hear this about a lot of players for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of top players as well. And I think what's his name, Grishuk mentioned this, that if we would know about the top players that could potentially cheating, things would take a very dark turn. So
No, he's right. I mean, like if we knew about if the general public, because obviously we in the chess world hear rumors circulating. If the general public heard just about the rumors, which may or may not be true, then they would be surprised by the extent of the rumors.
yeah,
Just the fact that certain people are suspected, which might mean nothing, which might just be paranoia, even that would surprise. Now, that the certain percentage of the suspected people, even among the top level and certainly in lower levels as well, that there is probably some truth to some of them, right? Just by the
Law of
math,
probability.
yeah, just by the there's probably some truth in some of those things, right?
yeah.
That would also surprise people, and that might even like surprise us, or maybe not.
Yeah. Also, another one was quite funny. In a typical year, Neiman could expect to participate in approximately 15 major chess tournaments, each of which would generate approximately 5,000 to 15,000 in appearance fee for Neiman, and also give him the chance to win between $5,000 and $100,000 in prize fund. So basically, just what's that? Do the math. 100 times 15, that's like 1.5 mil.
Wait, can I see the numbers
Potential-
again? What are the appearance fees? Are
Appearance fee is between 5,000 and 15,000
no?
in
I mean,
15 major tournaments, and then the potential to win between 5,000 and 100,000.
okay, like let's go through this briefly. So 15 major tournaments. I believe that he might play 15 major tournaments in a year.
Really?
And by major, you mean like open tournaments, like he played in Spain, right? Some open tournaments. He gets
But that's not
exactly
made. I mean,
exactly zero.
Zero appearance fee.
They don't offer appearance fees in open tournaments. Maybe hotel and flight.
I don't think they
Maybe.
mean open tournaments. I think they're thinking about the Grand Chess Tour.
But he's playing like one of those a year.
Yeah.
Like the
But
World Rapid English Championship, nobody.
Nobody gets appearance
Well,
fees.
maybe someone is, but Hans Niemann is definitely not.
Mm.
And even, for example, like a
Are
player.
you getting any
No,
appearance
I
fee?
didn't get an appearance
So if
fee,
you're
no.
not getting, I mean,
No, definitely Hans is not.
maybe Magnus, but
No,
that's
that's
about
why I
it,
said
yeah?
maybe someone, right?
If anybody, it could be only Magnus, and we're speculating. He's probably not getting it.
And with like 100% certainty, I can say Hans got absolutely nothing to play the Singfield Cup. Like he got the prize, whatever his prize was. He didn't get an appearance fee.
Yeah,
He did not. No,
nobody.
they're not offering appearance fees
No,
there.
those are. He was a wild card. They don't offer appearance fees.
Well, they
for
don't
wild
offer
cards.
appearance fees to any, like including.
Yeah, it's
I'm
the prize
pretty
fund.
sure,
It's the prize
including
fund.
to all the other players. They offer big prizes.
Yeah.
Now, could he win 100 grand in the Singfield Cup? Yeah, for sure. He could win the first prize.
But that's one tournament.
Yeah, but 15 is wrong, unless you're counting major as like everything he's playing. 5,000 to 15,000 in appearance fees is wrong for every single tournament. There's not a single tournament that will pay him 15,000. Not a single one.
These outlandish remarks and claims, do you think they're going to hurt his case? Because people like experts and people that are within the chess world will come out and be like, dude, this is absolutely ridiculous. Like, nobody's getting this.
I think the numbers are supposed to be outlandish. Like 100 million is obviously, even if you take everything here at face value, that he could potentially play 15 tournaments and win $100,000 in each of them, which is obviously complete fantasy, because nobody makes 1.5 million dollars a year in pure prizes.
No, in pure prizes, I think Magnus made like 500,000.
560, maybe when you're playing a world championship, then you can make that money, right? Without a world championship match, even if you win every single tournament, you just can't make that money. So even his like top estimate, nobody makes without a world championship. But even that is like assuming he's taking the damages of $1.5 million a year, then he's still very far from $100 million
$100 million,
dollars from different people. Like, I understand Hans is not like probably deciding the numbers, right? Probably his lawyers are thinking like, okay, let's go for the publicity route and try to, create like a juicy
And maybe we'll get the
lawsuit.
settlement.
But 100 million is ridiculous, and the appearance fees and everything is also ridiculous. Like when I was his age and rating, like 2010, I reached 2,700, right? I was getting every once in a while 2,000 euros or dollars from a tournament. Like every once in a while, there would be, some like generous sponsor would be like, okay, here's 5 grand. I played like a tournament in Spain, like 2 grand here, 4 grand there, minimal prizes. I mean, you don't really make money at 2,700 without supplemental income from courses, lessons, streaming, teaching, whatever it is. From tournaments without winning prizes, like you win the world championship in Blitz. Without that, you're not going to make money. It's just, that's the reality for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of courses, how is your course going? We already kind of announced it. How is that playing out?
I've been working hard on it. So I'm reasonably satisfied with how it's going and going to continue to try to make a good product.
Do you feel like that is helping or hurting your general chess preparation?
Well, it's like, so when I'm doing this course, the analysis of variations is very interesting because I have to think not just about like, okay, I'll memorize some line here and this is my preparation, but I have to think about what would be easiest for people to understand and to play. And this could also help me because I also have to think about, well, maybe this position is a little bit too complicated and it's not very practical to go for it. And even though I'm not like the target audience, right, my level, it still could be useful for me. So that part is nice. Then I have to like write word explanations, which it's not very useful for me to do that, right? It's just for, because you need to create like a polished product where you have explanations for each move and where the pieces are going, etc. So yeah, half of it is useful, half of it is not.
Well, we'll see how that plays out. I think it's going to be a great product. I'm actually really looking. You're going to give me a discount, yeah?
I mean, I'll send you.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Thank you. Yeah. Get the family discount. Yeah.
Family? No family.
No family. No, the body discount. All right. What else? Let's think. What else is been happening in the chat? I don't think there's much else that we can cover. I think we've covered pretty much everything. It's
World Championship, Hans, Tata, everything's covered.
I've seen a recent interesting question. I think it was yesterday when we did the stream. Somebody asked in the chat if you would have the chance of fighting for a world championship once again, would you prefer it to be against Magnus or anybody else?
Like if I had won the candidates.
Yeah. If you get that position.
I would have wanted Magnus to play. I'll just, that's my honest answer. If I had won the last candidates, I would have wanted Magnus to play.
What about in the future? Let's say next candidates, you win it.
I mean, now it's unrealistic to think about because Magnus is not going to play.
Unless they change the format.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's again unrealistic because even if he wanted to play, he wouldn't be eligible to play because he would have to play the candidates to get back in the cycle. So the only way I can...
What if he plays the candidates?
No, but this is ridiculous because he said that he doesn't want to play classical event.
It makes no sense.
So then he plays the candidates to play the same classical
It would be
match.
very inconsistent.
It would be. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he would have to do the same preparation for the matches for the candidates as for the match. So it would like defeat the whole purpose of what he's doing, which is trying to kind of buck the system a bit. Say, I don't like this current system of chess, and I want to change it. And then he like re-enters it. It doesn't suit him or make consistent sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I was in Jan's shoes, for sure. I mean, because it has more weight if you beat Magnus.
Absolutely.
And,
it gives you a chance at redemption also.
And also the hype.
The hype
playing
is,
let's say if I'm playing Magnus versus playing Ding, Magnus match gets so much more hype. And from purely like a selfish point of view, it just has more money involved.
How do you feel their psychological state is, Dings and Nepos, going into this one? Because obviously you know, and they know, and there will be talks about it not being a real world championship, and them, even if whoever wins is not going to be the actual best chess player in the world because we have Magnus.
I don't think they care.
You don't think they care?
They don't care about that.
Yeah.
what they're going to care about is can they get this match? Like assuming that the sponsor is not located, and they might actually be worried.
Ooh. You think
Like
that
that-
might actually be a possibility of them not getting a match?
No, I mean I think that a match will happen. I just think that it would be a concern if I was in their shoes because
But there's contracts signed, right? I would assume already.
I mean, okay, like if we go back in history a little bit, like Rustam Kazımjov was entitled to a match because he won the FIDE World Championship, and there should have been a match between him and Kasparov. Shirov, same story. Shirov was supposed to play a match. Like, did these players ever play a match?
They didn't.
I mean, what legal ground? I mean, who are you going to sue?
FIDE. Good luck. Yeah.
So at least historically, players who were cheated out by the system, and I would put Rustam and Shirov firmly in that category as the two that I would think of immediately. They didn't get, like Rustam played the tournament in 2005, the tournament which was won by Veselin Topalov in San Luis, Argentina. Yeah. I think that's correct.
That is correct, yeah.
And so, yeah, he played a tournament. It was the same tournament that, for example, Judith played, Mickey played, Morzevich played, Leko played, Spiedler played, Vichy, and Topalov. Yeah, I mean, this is not... That wasn't the deal that he was supposed to get.
Yeah.
I wouldn't rule it out. I think they'll find a sponsor because they'll get someone for let's say $1 million is the minimum, right? It's not that much money for a big company.
And they're going to get a lot of publicity for sure out of it, especially nowadays with all... Well, I guess chess.com could be one sponsor, but then again, chess.com maybe is at competition with FIDE at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they would want to do that.
So
I really don't
that's
know.
going to be a bit difficult. Yeah,
I think we might see the same sponsor as the Rapid and Blitz World Championship.
in
Might just see that
Kazakhstan.
again.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Well, only time will tell in that regard. That's going to be definitely an interesting topic to follow in the upcoming weeks and months. Hopefully not months, because we need to know as fast as possible. Fabi, tomorrow we're traveling. Very, very excited about Tata Steel. That's going to be an interesting event. We're probably going to be filming a little bit, maybe in the rest days, kind of give breakdown of what happened and how you did in the tournament so far. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. A lot of fun, a lot of intrigue in that tournament. And yeah, we'll keep you guys up to date. We'll see you in the next video.
All right. See you guys.
Cheers.